Radha Radhe. Today is Saturday, 8th April 2023, and on this continuing journey of our Bhagavad Gita study series for chapter 7, here for this recap video with me is Mummy.
Radhe Radhe.
We'll bring up the screen and talk about what was covered in today's class. So we had, three verses that we were able to cover, chapter 7, verses 11, 12, and 13. As always, after a few quiz questions, so please give those an attempt. And now we shall start by hearing a rendition of chapter 7, verse 11.
Balam balvatam chaham kamaraga vivarjitam dharma aviruddho bhuteshu kamosmi bharatarshabha.
So chapter 7, verse 11, here the catchphrase is sublime strength. That is, a good description for Sri Krishna. And in his own words, he says that he is the strength in strong people. He uses the phrase, "O best of the Bharatas," for Arjun, and he's talking about strength that is devoid of desire and passion. Again, way back from chapter 3, as well as chapter 2, verse 47 and beyond, anything and everything we do being done with that intention and offering for the pleasure of the Lord, that can help us work without deviation or cessation, as Swamiji says. And that, again, that empowerment and that strength is Sri Krishna. Sri Krishna also says that he is sexual activity, not conflicting with virtue or scriptural injunctions. Again, we talked about that in class, talking about roles for procreation and household life, and all this being, again, ordained by the scriptures, well within the institution of marriage. So that is sublime strength, chapter 7, verse 11. Next, we'll see chapter 7, verse 12.
Ye chaiva satvika bhava rajasastam sashaschache matta eveti tan vidhi na tvaham teshu te mai.
Chapter 7, verse 12, the commentary itself is fairly short. Here, the catchphrase is material manifestations. Again, we've seen many times, and certainly from chapter 3 and beyond, the three gunas, the three modes of material nature. Here again, we get a reminder. They are sattva, rajas, and tamas. So we have goodness, passion, and ignorance. So if you now look at the translation for chapter 7, verse 12, Sri Krishna again states and establishes that those three modes of material existence, the three gunas, are manifested by his energy. But more importantly, they are in him, yes, but he is beyond them. Again, we have seen this a few times. Sri Krishna is transcendental to the three gunas, and we have talked about Shuddha Sattva, which is that so-called fourth guna, the one that pertains to Sri Krishna, Shuddha meaning pure. So the purest of the sattva, the goodness, that Shuddha Sattva guna is the guna of Sri Krishna. Swamiji says that this verse is in a way just kind of concluding that everything that has been covered thus far, no more details are required. And, Sri Krishna is telling Arjun that yes, the source of everything good, bad, and ugly is Sri Krishna. But again, all that is possible by his energy. And of course, Sri Krishna is transcendental to all of that. We also talked briefly about the poem Swamiji quotes briefly. So In Memoriam by Alfred Lord Tennyson. Please do check that out. It's very lengthy, but whenever everyone gets a chance, you're welcome to check it out. Lots of stanzas that are devoted to glories and faith as related to the Lord, to God. So that is chapter 7, verse 12. One thing that I forgot to mention is when we talk about chapter 7, verse 11, again, going back to sublime strength, that is in a way also now we can summarize it with chapter 7, verse 8 from last time and the next four verses. So ending in chapter 7, verse 11, we saw that Sri Krishna has described with examples one or more instances of what he is with regards to each of the senses. So again, if I quickly take us back to chapter 7, verse 8, we talked about taste. So tasting water. Sight. Sight, we're talking about radiance of the sun and moon. Later on, the brilliance of fire. Sound, the sacred syllable Om, as well as sound in ether. Then smell, pure fragrance of the earth. There's a quiz question again asking you about an English word that refers to that. Please do try that when you get a chance. And finally, of course, as we saw in today's chapter 7, verse 11, of course, the element, the sense of touch. So again, all that is summarized here. And as Mummy said, chapter 7 started off with Sri Krishna talking about the 5 gross elements. How again, he is those, he manifests those, his energies come and create those. So we had the 5 gross elements, now the 5 senses. So again, all that, it is being heard for all of us by Sri Krishna through his examples and explanation. Next up then, we should go on to chapter 7, verse 13.
त्रिभिर्गुणमयैर्भावैर् एभिः सर्वम् इदं जगत् मोहितं नाभिजानाति मामेभ्यः परम् अव्ययम्.
Chapter 7, verse 13, catchphrase as a question is eternal delusion. Here you can see that in 2 ways. One is, as Sri Krishna says in the translation of the verse, that we all are deluded because of those 3 gunas, and therefore we are not able to know or recognize Sri Krishna as imperishable and eternal. Here also the question is to help us think, do we eternally want to be in that state of delusion? Certainly for all of us on these journeys, the answer is no. We do hope to know and recognize Sri Krishna in some lifetime. So again, going to the content, Sri Krishna is telling Arjuna that it is those 3 modes of Maya. So here now we hear about Maya very, very conclusively, and we'll hear more about Maya in the upcoming verses also. So thus far in the Bhagavad Gita, we've talked about Maya through commentary, but here now Sri Krishna is talking about Maya, and we'll see in fact briefly what it is. So because of that, we cannot know or recognize Sri Krishna. Swamiji says that this verse is perhaps a response to a hypothetical question that Arjuna or any of us may have had. That is, once we have seen or heard a little bit about Sri Krishna's vibhutis or opulences, why then are billions of humans not able to know Sri Krishna? Sri Krishna indeed says that we are all deluded because of Maya. Our consciousness is veiled, there is short-term gratification or ephemeral allurement of bodily pleasures, and that is what keeps us further away from God. Maya, as Swamiji explains, the one meaning is that its 2 roots, which are ma, not, and ya, what is, could refer to Maya as meaning that which is not what it appears to be. So as we talked about in class as well, and we've seen a little bit before, there are 2 aspects here to Maya. One being that, yes, it is an energy of God, and in fact, it is always serving God as well. It is serving God by, putting hurdles in our way in the material sense, so that through trials and tribulations, the second aspect, we recognize that Maya, in fact, is going to help us realize that we need to face God, not turn away from God. So we saw 2 new words today that we've often maybe heard in Swamiji's and Maharajji's lectures. Vimukh, having our backs turned away from God, and Sammukh, having our backs towards God, having our faces towards God, being turned towards God. As I mentioned briefly in class, if the language is difficult, sun, just think of it like the sun that's in the sky, the sun, the moon. The sun, again, often God is, that we know the creator, but we often think of sun as one of the massive glories of God. So sun mukh, if you have your face towards the sun, meaning here towards God, then that is the correct spiritual direction we would like to be in. So again, Maya is that energy that is serving the Lord, creating troubles for us, but also helping us recognize that progress needs to be made by turning ourselves, right? Back away from God, no, face God, as Swamiji often tells us. Mummy, over to you for some Sanskrit words and any other commentary.
Yeah, thank you, Gagan. So for verse 11, let's look at this word, dharma aviruddho. Dharma aviruddho means that is, which is not conflicting with dharma. Okay, so Krishna here, he tells that he is the strength, he's that strength which is sublime, which is good, okay, which is not harming somebody. He's that strength which is empowering human beings to do their rightful duties. Similarly, that sexual activity he is but one which is within the institution of marriage for procreation, not the animalistic nature. Okay, so dharma aviruddho, that which is not conflicting with dharma. Verse 12, let's look at the word bhavaha. Bhavaha means the states of material existence. So three modes of nature which we go through during the whole day also. We keep on changing from one state to another. This is all manifested by God's energy only. So now, how to transcend these states, these three modes? It is only by bhakti, bhakti, and bhakti. Then, verse number 13, again a similar word, gunmayihi. Gunmayihi means consisting of the modes of material nature. So basically, we are all being deluded by these three modes. And modes of who? Modes of Maya. It keeps on keeping us in the mode of ignorance mostly. And that is where we just are busy in enjoying the worldly pleasures. So then Krishna says that we have to be facing the God. Okay, it's like two birds sitting on a branch. God is watching us, noting down, but we human beings as ignorant bird, we are looking the other way, busy enjoying the worldly pleasures. We have to face God. Once we face God, then only we can move on the path of God realization. We can get some eligibility for God realization. So that's from me, Gagan.
Yeah, thank you, Mummy. And I'm glad you brought up the example of those two birds. It's easy for us to often forget because we'll be pecking away at the fruit and other objects of desire. But yeah, we just need to be facing the supreme bird, the supreme Lord in this case. Yep. Last comment I'll make is just a reminder that in class also we were able to hear about a minute and a half of the song Mummy had mentioned last time, which in a way helps as a good summary again of chapter 7, verses 8 all the way through 11. We'll send out the link once more, but do encourage you to check out the full version when you can. Again, just one of many different tributes that people have made towards, God, his infinite glories, all of his creation. The painting in this case, the painter that the Lord is, ye kaun chitrakar hai. So we're glad that we were able to hear a little bit of that rendition. With that, Mummy, if there's any other final comments, if not, we shall look forward to, of course, the next series, next session.
Yes.
So
Thank you very much. Radhe Radhe.
Yeah. Again, we hope everyone continues enjoying the learning, and we shall see you all next week, Saturday, 15th April, 2023. And of course, Bhagavad Gita study and or Bhagavad Gita recitation that takes place 3 hours after Bhagavad Gita study. Thank you so much. Radhe Radhe.
Radhe Radhe.